Welcome to Love Them Tender, where we find love in big-hearted books, films, and TV. I'm Alexandra Hidalgo, and I'm so glad you're here. And today, we are going to talk about Pee-Wee Herman. The documentary, Pee-Wee as himself, just came out. We just watched it for Father's Day, and it really got us thinking about the fact that Pee-Wee, in our family of four, has been a really big influence in very different ways, but only one of us, my husband, grew up with him. And yet, he managed to bring Pee-Wee Herman and all his art and whimsy and wildness and beauty into our lives. And we're going to talk about how and why and how come this person that made a show and films so long ago has remained such a vital part of so many of our lives, even those of us who didn't grow up with him.
Hello!
Hi.
Well, it would be impossible to overstate the importance of Pee-Wee Herman on me, my sense of humor, my childhood. He was at the center of it. No one and nothing influenced me more as a person who likes to laugh and a person who likes to write than Pee-Wee Herman, and especially Pee-Wee's Big Adventure, which I consider in the running for the greatest comedy movie of all time. And I don't think that's a ridiculous statement. People are the beneficiaries of their time. He was a brilliantly talented person as a writer and just as a humorist. He was a great joke teller. His physical humor is unparalleled, in my opinion. But it all came together with that movie. You had this unique talent in Paul Reubens, assuming this character of Pee-Wee Herman. You had a brilliant director, Tim Burton, in his directorial debut for a feature film. You had a comedic genius in Phil Hartman working on the script. You had a brilliant musician in Danny Elfman writing the score. And then all of these character actors all coming together, and they created something just, in my opinion, unrivaled in humor. There are comedies that are just as good, but there are no comedies that are better. And that movie shaped me like very few have. And so to watch this documentary about him, to hear him talk about his life and his legacy was a really beautiful thing. And so when you have these seminal things in your life, which have remained important into my adulthood, of course I wanted to share it with the people I love most. So I watched the movie 27 years ago with my wife, and when she laughed at it, I knew we had a real chance. We were gonna make it. Of course, I wanted to share it with my kids, and my kids really loved it. I would say that they became addicted to it and watched it over and over again, but it was good to see that they laughed at it and it made an impression on them, so that when we rewatched it today, they remembered a lot of it. And then they watched Pee-Wee's Playhouse and enjoyed that growing up. So it speaks to not only his humor at the time, the early 80s, but also his lasting power, and also what can happen when you share something with love. People you love will give it a chance, and I think if you give this movie a chance, it will latch on to you.
Out of all of the people that my dad has tried to bring Pee-Wee to, including his nephew, my brother, me, I think I had the biggest impact out of everyone. I kind of don't remember when I first watched it. I remember some of the key details of the show, but not most of them. Then I watched Pee-Wee's Big Adventure again 4 times this year. Today was my 5th. With my uncle and my dad, I kind of realized this is really fun. And my brother really didn't watch 4 times, he watched once. I was the one that actually thought, I do want to watch this again. And yesterday when I watched another episode of Pee-Wee's Playhouse, I remembered exactly how it was and how fun the show was. I remembered the characters. I remembered what Pee-Wee did. I remember what the house looked like. I remembered the door, the Sphinx on top of Pee-Wee's house. The intro especially brought back a ton. And when his scooter comes out of the hole in his wall, it really made me remember exactly how it was before. And I'm really glad he showed it to me and brought it back. I really think that it's great, and I'm so happy I could watch it with my dad and my brother and my uncle.
I grew up in Venezuela, and we did not have Pee-Wee in Venezuela. Punky Brewster made it, Pee-Wee did not. And then I fell in love with this boy from Ohio, and he had all these voices and all these jokes. And eventually he was like, here is Pee-Wee's Big Adventure. I want you to see it. It is my favorite film. And I was like, really? This children's movie? When he introduced it. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, this isn't a children's movie. It's this insanely brilliant and weird and wacky call for the weird, wacky, brilliant humans of the world to be themselves. And it's this quest, and it's so transcendent in the way that it's dealing with gender and sexuality and queerness. It was so surreal. And I think the Playhouse, which we then we watched all 5 seasons as adults, was even more so. There were more episodes, I guess, but it went even deeper and farther in the playing with stereotypes and sexuality and bringing all the queerness you could possibly bring into TV in the 80s. So for me, Pee-Wee was something that really helped me understand my husband and his siblings' humor. But whenever I watch it, I'm in awe that he got away with all of this, that he managed to make this, that it was such a success, and that it holds up as well as it does. Things turn to become a little obsolete or a little embarrassing, and it has its moments where you're like, oh no, that wouldn't fly today. But because its heart was big, and because it was transgressive for a time in the first place, it still holds up. And I'm so glad that I got to get to know it through my husband.
At first, I didn't really remember watching Pee-Wee's Playhouse, but I later rewatched one of the episodes, and I remember more than I thought I did. Like, I remember the overall layout of the house. I remember being afraid of the storm episode. I remember the genie. I remember a whole bunch of the characters. But Pee-Wee's Playhouse to me was sort of just a TV show that kept me entertained when I was 5 or 6. And although it didn't really have a lasting impact on my childhood, watching the documentary did show me what type of a life Paul Reubens had and how he was a very interesting and very entertaining guy. He's probably the only person I could name that I could watch him play with toys for an hour and be entertained.
Thank you for watching. Did you grow up with Pee-Wee? Did you not? What are your thoughts on him? Did you watch the documentary? How about Pee-Wee's Playhouse? Or Pee-Wee's Big Adventure? Or the sequels? We love the 3rd one. We're going to rewatch that one soon. It's on Netflix. What are the things in your childhood that you tried to share with those you love, and did they take it well? Did they not? Or what are the things that people who love you shared with you? Please let us know, and comment, like, share, subscribe. We really appreciate it. It makes a huge difference. And as always, stay big-hearted.